Unconditional love is the original state of your being. Before identity, before fear, before the strategies you developed to stay safe, you existed as pure openness, connected, trusting, expressive, and fully yourself. Nothing in you questioned whether you were worthy of love. Nothing in you had to earn affection or prove value. Love was simply the frequency you existed in. As you moved through life, you learned that love could be influenced. You discovered that people react differently depending on your behavior. You noticed that approval, attention, or affection could expand or contract. And slowly, without conscious choice, you shaped yourself to fit the emotional landscape around you. You learned how to behave in order to be accepted. You learned which parts of yourself were celebrated and which parts of yourself were ignored, dismissed, or punished. This is how conditional love took root, not because you failed, but because you adapted. Conditional love teaches you that connection depends on performance. That worth depends on pleasing others. That your authenticity must be filtered, softened, or hidden. And once the nervous system adopts this pattern, it becomes the default lens from which you relate to the world. You begin to anticipate rejection before it happens. You start managing yourself to avoid disappointment. You try to control outcomes so your heart doesn't break again. You live with a quiet belief that love must be earned. Yet the truth has never changed. Unconditional love is still the core of your being. It was never replaced. It was only covered. To return to unconditional love, you begin by noticing the places where you've made love conditional on your own self. The moments when you postpone compassion until you deserve it. The times you restrict softness until you've worked harder, achieved more, or proven something. The ways you delay acceptance until your behavior matches your expectations. This internal conditionality is not who you are. It's a learned response. Real love does not withhold itself as motivation or punishment. Real love does not negotiate worth. Real love does not wait for perfection. Real love recognizes truth as it is, not as it should be. The more you soften these internal rules, the closer you come to the natural state you began in. Think of a time when you felt open, safe, and connected without needing to be anything other than yourself. It could be childhood, a memory with a friend, a moment in nature, or even a brief experience where something inside you felt completely unguarded. That feeling wasn't random. It was recognition. It was your original frequency surfacing through the layers. As you explore unconditional love, you start to see how quickly the mind labels behaviors as good or bad, worthy or unworthy, lovable or unlovable. These labels were inherited. They came from caregivers, teachers, partners, societal expectations, and early experiences that taught you which versions of yourself were acceptable. But the soul never agreed to those conditions. Only the wounded parts of the mind did. Unconditional love is not the absence of boundaries, truth, or self-respect. It is the absence of fear in how you relate to yourself and others. It is the recognition that love does not disappear when discomfort appears. It does not shrink when there is conflict. It does not vanish when someone cannot meet your expectations. Unconditional love remains available even when choices must be made, even when distance is necessary, even when someone cannot participate in your life. Unconditional love honors truth, not fantasy. The return to unconditional love begins with seeing your patterns clearly. When you find yourself over-explaining, performing, pleasing, withdrawing, or hardening, you're not failing. You're seeing the exact moment where love became conditional for you in the past. You are witnessing the wound, not the truth. And witnessing it gives you the power to choose differently. The more awareness you bring to these conditioned moments, the more natural it becomes to reconnect with your original essence. You start treating yourself with the same compassion you've always longed for from others. You begin giving the love you were once trained to chase. And slowly, something shifts. Your heart becomes familiar territory again instead of a guarded fortress. Unconditional love isn't a skill you learn. It is the remembering of what you already are. Every time you choose authenticity over performance, truth over fear, presence over protection, and compassion over judgment, you peel back another layer that was never really yours. Beneath every adaptation is your original frequency waiting to be seen, heard, and lived again.